Hi, I'm Dr. Fab, and today I'm going to talk to you about the current protests that are going on all over the U.S. in regards to the Families Together resistance against Trump's draconian law to snatch the babies away from their moms. I would have attended the Arizona protest, but unfortunately I just saw that it is actually asking the government to deport all children to Mexico, to their parents. And that is highly concerning because these are American babies, these are US citizens, they were born on the soil of US, and they have very much the same right as any other citizen of the United States. And to deport them to Mexico, which is technically a foreign country for them, even though their parents were from there, is not just against the Constitution of the United States, but it's an extremely inhumane act, because what if they are thrown into a life of poverty where they don't have the same opportunity as the other citizens of the United States? So asking and demanding the government of the United States to deport these children in the concentration internment camps, in the detention centers at the border, back to Mexico with their families, may sound humane to a lot of Americans, but in reality, it is not humane. It is actually a human right violation, because you're technically treating a large fraction of your American citizens, who are US citizens constitutionally, you're giving them a differential treatment. And I think this thing can be petitioned in the Supreme Court, that these kids whose parents are illegal immigrants, they must be given the same rights as any other American citizen, because right now they're being treated like the third class members of this country, and they're not old enough to realize what's going on with them. But when they do realize, as they convert into adults, they're going to start hating this country. They're going to start hating all of you who remain silent to the atrocities that are being committed against them. So my recommendation to the US government and to every resistance movement activist is, be careful about what you're demanding, because you could actually be damaging them for the rest of their lives. Mental trauma, physical trauma, sexual trauma. And you will be held responsible 10 years from now for all the bad things that happened to them. So make sure you know what you're asking for. I really wanted to go to these protests today that are happening in Arizona. I'm in Arizona right now. I'm in Phoenix right now. And I had full plans to go to the protest today, but I do not want to be part of a movement that asks a certain fraction of the United States citizens to be treated differently than the rest of the citizens. This is not fair. This is not justice. This is not what the Constitution of the United States stands for. This is totally unconstitutional. These kids are entitled to the same laws and the same Constitution that is subjected on the rest of the citizens. They have the same rights as the rest of the citizens of the United States. Their parents must be legitimized. Their parents must be legalized. Their parents must be brought in from Mexico and from wherever their whatever Latin countries their parents are from, and they must be legalized. They must be given a status so that they can work and pay taxes. The parents of these kids have been good contributors to the society in US, and to deport them and then keep the babies over here in detention camps is absolutely heinous. It's a heinous crime. It's absolutely unacceptable in any kind of society. Religion has nothing to do with this. This is humanity. This is conscience. Every human being, regardless of what religion he has or she has a conscience, is born with a conscience. Even atheists who do not believe in any religion, they have a conscience. And I'm sure a large majority of atheists who do not have any kind of religion are participating in these protests. But to ask to deport a certain fraction of American citizens born on the US soil, back to Mexico just because their parents were illegal is not acceptable. It is absolutely objectionable. It is unconstitutional. And then coming back to my protest that I'm doing all by myself, alone, tomorrow at Phoenix City Hall at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow, to tell the world that the biggest concentration camp of children, of babies, is being housed in Gaza under the constitutional immunity of the US government, the US Congress. And now, since the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act has been passed, the US citizens will lose their right to be able to try to stop and end this concentration camp that is being housed, funded, fueled, maintained under their tax money. So we all have to get up and rise together, because this is a violation of the freedom of expression. If a US citizen cannot express his concern about Israeli oppression, about what Israel is doing right now, as I say these words, the Israeli forces, they are persecuting the children in Gaza because they think they can get away with it. Why? Because they think they have the backup of the superpower of the world, because they think they have the backup of the American people, because they think they have the backup of the funding, of the unlimited funding of the American people. So the American people are responsible if they're silent about the biggest concentration internment camp that is currently being housed in Gaza, where there's a blockade of aid, where the water is being polluted on purpose by Israel, where there's no electricity, where there's no, where even their farms are being showered with very harmful substances to pollute, to contaminate their food, where they're not even allowed to do some fishing off the coast of Gaza. They want to deprive Gaza of the basic amenities of life. They want to kill them softly, slowly. And this is all being done. This is all being done on American taxpayers' money. And tomorrow I'm going to protest. Tomorrow I'm going to protest about why is this being done under the American legislature, when this is absolutely against humanity, when it is violating every code of conduct that could be written in any book of humanity. It is against the international law. Why is the United States government backing Israeli aggression? Why is the American taxpayer money responsible for killing so many children? Hundreds of children got injured. Peaceful protesters got killed in the recent march that started around the time of Nakba. For the last 70 years, the American money has fueled this apartheid against the Palestinian people. Why? Why are you letting your government do this? This is not in the name of anti-Semitism. If Moses were alive today, he would have condemned every person, every Jewish person, every Catholic person, every Muslim person who's supporting Israel in doing such aggression. That is why we have organizations like Jews for Peace working for Palestine against Israel. That is why we have Court Pink. That is why we have Bernie Sanders, who's a Jew himself, speaking for the rights of the Palestinians. So if you are a God-fearing Jew, if you are a God-fearing Catholic, if you are a God-fearing Muslim, if you are a God-fearing Christian, if you don't even believe in God, if you just believe in humanity, if you believe you have a conscience that tells you what to do, what not to do, if you have the feeling of guilt, look at the pictures. Look at the pictures coming out of Gaza. Look at the pictures that are coming out of Palestine right now. And ask yourself, is this justifiable by the US Congress to back up such aggression, to back up such apartheid, to back up such a genocide, to back up so many atrocities being committed against the Palestinian children. They are being detained unconstitutionally, extrajudicially. Their organs are being harvested by the Israeli government illegally in the black market. This is all going on in your name, with your tax money, right under your nose. And you're not able to do anything about it because you're too distracted from the Kardashians, you're too distracted from the celebrity gossip. But remember, today they took American babies, American-born babies from their mothers. Tomorrow they're coming for your children. They're going to take your freedom. They already started the process. The Civil Liberties Act, the First Amendment right, is being violated by the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act that was passed by the US Congress in the last few weeks. And you were not able to do anything about it. It happened right under your nose. Your First Amendment right of freedom of expression has been violated in the name of anti-Semitism, when we all know that Moses would not have stood up next to Israel today for what Israel has done to the Gaza, what Israel has committed against the Palestinians. Moses would have never stood up for Israel against Palestinians. Moses would have stood up with the Palestinians against Israel. So this is not anti-Semitism. This is human rights activism. And the last time I checked, nowhere in the world can human rights activism be called illegal, be illegitimized, be made to be punished for, unless there's a tyranny, unless there's a martial law, unless you're living in an enslaved society. So if you think you're free, if you think you're not a slave, protest. Protest against the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act. Protest against Israeli aggression that's going on against the Gaza children, because that is the largest concentration internment camp in the world, being housed on the paycheck of your tax money. You're responsible for it. It is coming from your hard-earned money. This concentration internment camp, all the atrocities being committed against the Gaza babies, your money is being fueled. Your money is being pushed into it. And you have to stop this. You have to, at least if you do not want to condemn it openly, just don't be part of it. Ask for the audit of your tax money. Why are you giving so much money to Israel? Why are you fueling this aggression? Why? What has Israel done for you? Ask yourself, what has Israel done for US? Why are you having to go through this burden on your conscience, this guilt, just for the sake of a nation that has the least concern for human rights, that is killing children softly, that is depriving them of their basic human rights, all with your money? You have to put an end to it today, and you have to make sure you have the right to continue to be able to express your concern by protesting against the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act. If you did not stand up today, your civil liberties will be gone forever. You don't have to even celebrate the 4th of July event, because you are not going to be free. If you want to be free, you have to work for your freedom, because it's been taken from you right now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.